just filmed our buddy Sam's proposal video, and if you guys want to check it out, it's on our main YouTube channel. But this video was sitting on my mind, and I was like, oh, I gotta get the right song, because I was picturing it a certain way, and I just couldn't find the right song. And then, sure enough, Music Bed, once again, as always, came in clutch. It had the exact tone. And not only that, I clicked on the song I liked, and I was like, okay, what were some other options? And then I just scrolled right down, and it said songs similar to this style. Give me like 50 options of songs just like it. And one of those similar songs, the one I actually ended up using because I liked it even more than the song that I thought was perfect. And I found an even more perfect song. And so just more love to Music Bed. I love that I can go on Music Bed, which by the way now has a dark mode, which was the best feature. And I love dark mode. You can go on there and find songs that really help elevate our films and take them to that next level, which I think is really hard nowadays. I think in the world of TikTok and everything, everyone just uses the same music and jump on the same trends. I think your best bet to get ahead of the people you're competing with is to stand out. And I think the fastest way to do that is by using good music. And there's no better site than Music Bed.
No, they have
curated by real artists.
Yeah, curated by real artists. They have hands down the best music. Absolutely. Likewise, last week I was making a little teaser trailer for a wedding we shot in St. George about a month ago. Not kidding. I logged in. The very first song I clicked on, it was in the What's New section. Clicked on the first one.
What's New section's crazy.
Oh, it was amazing. First song I clicked on, ding, perfect. I didn't even look at any other songs because I didn't need to. And I just used that. It was a breeze. Yeah, it was a great song. Yeah. But my other favorite thing about Spotify is that it's integrated with Spotify. What did I say?
Spotify.
Okay. Whoopsie. My favorite thing, you'll see why, is Music Bed integrates with Spotify, or they have their own playlist that they update regularly in the What's New. So most times you're sitting in your office anyway and you're editing and you're listening to background music. A hack, everybody, to find your music quicker, just go to Spotify, turn on the What's New playlist by Music Bed, and you'll hear all the new songs, and you'll just be able to find your songs without even trying. You just add it to a playlist, ready to use for your next reel or your next film.
Crazy.
Super easy.
Love it. Thank you, Music Bed. Yeah. We love you. Styled shoots are not real weddings. All right, let's explain. So oftentimes people think that the reason you go to a styled shoot is to get content, to market yourself as this luxury wedding videographer, right? And you and I have probably taught that or sold tickets for that reason 100%. To people before. And so I actually want to dive into why that may be the wrong approach, and how you can actually use styled shoots to your advantage in more ways than quote unquote lying about it being a real wedding.
Exactly.
All this stemmed from a reel you found with this guy, Josh Huggett, saying that styled shoots aren't real weddings, repeated 4 times. Also, have I told you that my least favorite trend in the world is this one?
Really?
I hate that audio more than anything in the world. I think it's the most cringe. I think it's the cringiest trend we've had in a few years.
I don't mind it.
Just the repetition. And I hate when they're like mouthing the words and they're like repeating it. I'm just like, if it's like the clapping.
The real crime here is that there are 6 beats. Doom, 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 doom. Doom, 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 doom,
so you're gonna
right?
Pick this apart.
So there's 6 beats. Standpoint. He totally missed on the syllables, right? So styled.
Is that the whole point?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be to like you're filling in the words.
I hate it so much.
I think, is styled 1 or 2 syllables? Is it styled or styled? But styled shoots aren't
girls
real
make
weddings.
1 word, 2 syllables, no matter what.
Styled shoots aren't real weddings.
Like I was on the plane.
It just depends if styled is 1 or 2 syllables.
I was on the plane last night and someone said, "I am so good." I'm like, good is 1 syllable.
Good.
I'm like, I want to punch him in the face.
Yeah. I feel like that's a Utah
thing. California accent.
It's invaded Utah.
Emma's starting to get that accent.
I
love you,
Emma has an interesting vocabulary. Yeah. And when you get to know Emma, you'll realize she has an interesting vocab and loves her audio messages.
She loves it.
No more texting, just audio.
We love her.
We do. We love Emma.
Take my prime. Okay, so style shoots are not real weddings.
By this guy, Josh Huggett. Okay.
Let's just, how about on 3 we say if we agree or disagree?
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Agree. Disagree.
You were gonna see. You just wanted to disagree.
No, Wait, I got it backwards. Agree.
Okay, agree. We both agree. Okay, because the funniest
Sorry,
thing.
it's double negative.
Yeah.
I agree. They are not real weddings.
Well,
obviously.
Well, the funniest thing, obviously, right? The funniest thing about this is he stated a fact. Styled shoots aren't real weddings. You can't argue against it. Yeah. All he said was a fact. Yeah. And everybody flooded the comments because they were feeling a certain way.
Yeah.
Because he said that and it triggered something, which, obviously rage bait. Yeah. But it was just funny that it flooded the comments based off of like, well, I'm so mad.
Right. Are facts rage bait?
I think it's just, well,
you know what you're doing.
Yeah, you know what you're doing. Yeah,
sure.
That's a better way of saying it. It's not really rage bait.
And he pinned this top comment that said they are, but only in Vogue magazine, which is kind of funny.
And homeboy Josh, he's got like 200,000 followers. He's a photographer in Australia. Oh, so obviously he has some education too. If you have that big of a platform, like you should be doing education, right?
People under the down under,
the land down under,
are a little feisty.
Built different. Built different.
I'm all for it.
This guy like prides himself in being just like inappropriate. Yeah. He's just like that clientele. He's just very rough around the edges. I mean, cool. He finds clients like that.
Okay, so someone commented, and it's the first one on my feed, and they sassed back.
Okay.
Repeating 4 times, everyone starts somewhere. To which he replied, "They sure do. No reason to lie, though." So I think the premise that he's getting at that I want to explore today is marketing a styled shoot, whether it's from a workshop or whatever, as a real wedding, lying.
And that's the rhetoric of the post, right? Because he just said a fact.
Yeah.
Okay. Styled shoots aren't weddings, but the implication, as you read through the comments, is what he's tired of, and a lot of people are tired of. People shoot a styled shoot, and in the caption, it's really, we're just talking about the caption here. Oh my gosh, I just shot this beautiful wedding in Napa or whatever.
Yeah.
Not true.
We've even had people leave our workshops and say, can I not post that it was because in our tag list, it says workshop.
You have to tag,
Yeah, workshop host.
Yeah.
And they ask, can I not include that so my clients, so I can use this to market as a real wedding? Mm-hmm. And I don't know what I said to that person at the time. I probably said,
go ahead.
I think I said no. I think I said no.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't. But here's what I think. I think it's lying.
It is.
One could argue it's more of a lie for videographers than it is photographers because whatever. But I think in general, whoever you are, it is a lie.
It is.
To say that that's what you did because you're not promoting. I don't know, because what do you get out of a styled shoot? You get really pretty content, right? Mm-hmm. That you're hoping to use to attract more clients. But I think if the internet has taught us anything, it's that you can't trust someone's feed.
Correct.
Just because they have a good Instagram feed doesn't mean they're going to be a good vendor.
Correct.
Or a good photographer, or a good videographer, a good business person, or a good person with good morals.
Mm-hmm. No, 100%.
You can get ghosted by someone with a pretty feed. We've worked with people with beautiful feeds, and they're absolute trash cans.
Yeah. Seriously, the experience with them was terrible. Yeah.
And so it's like, well, what are you trying to market? And I think, well, you should be market that you can capture a live event, that you can capture a wedding from start to finish. And a styled shoot, it's not that environment. There's no stress. There's no pressure. There's no families yelling at you. There's infinite redos on a styled shoot.
Yeah.
So if you deliver a gallery of a styled shoot, are you really showing what you can do? And the answer is absolutely not. Right. And we can walk into the prettiest wedding in the world as, day one amateurs and get something gorgeous. Mm-hmm. I've seen it happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you're just like, well, now throw me into my market realistically and you crumble. It's like, well, maybe because you don't know how to capture a live event, you just know how to capture pretty visuals.
What's funny about this all is for those who've been listening for a long time, like many things, this is almost a complete 180 from what we probably would have taught, what we did teach a year ago. Because what you just said, what I think you said, styled shoots don't really you can't really show what you can do through a styled shoot. And I could dig back through our archives. We used to say styled shoots are to show people what you can do. And so I'm also recanting something that I said on an earlier episode, and I was thinking about this because I remember saying, okay, I get it, but let's think about like commercial DPs. A lot of creative artists out there, they go film mock commercials, but you don't see them like making all these waves about, oh, they didn't say it's a mock DP film or like mock commercial.
Right.
because it's a different environment. Whether you're shooting a real commercial or a fake commercial, it's still pretty much the same environment.
Yeah, I'd argue that's pretty much the exact same.
It's pretty much the same argument or environment, excuse me.
You produce the entire thing both times.
You have a gaffer, producer, like you set up the shots, you have time. A styled shoot versus a real wedding, completely different environments, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
A wedding, you're running gun, you're figuring things out. Styled shoot, sit there, take all your time. You can, so it's completely different.
Yeah, best case scenarios, no pressure versus adapting.
Right. Yeah. And so while we used to say styled shoots served the purpose of being able to show planners and venues what you could do, I think now it's more appropriate to say they're just for practice. Yeah. Just getting creative, trying new things. Yeah,
that's what we've been saying the last, I think, year is that like use styled shoots as an opportunity to really practice and to fail and to get the hours in. I was just with Larev and they said they play a game where they take a shot every time we mention their names on the podcast.
Do they really?
So I'm mentioning you again. But I just shot with them and I was talking to them about why I love them. And we talked about this before, but one of the biggest reasons I love working with Larev is because when I watch them work, it's validating to me that we're on the right track.
Yeah.
But we haven't put as many hours in as they have. And I think that's what style shoots should be for, is to help you close the skill gap between like adjusting your camera settings, your composition, knowing how to like work quickly. I mean, practicing to shoot through 10 videographers is just like a real wedding where you're practicing how to adapt with guests and photographers. But I think you should be experimenting and saying, what do I want to try that I'm not going to like risk on a wedding day, whether it's like a new lens or a different compositional shot or racking focus. Like try different things, but don't walk into a styled shoot thinking just run of the mill, I'm going to do my thing.
Doing the same thing.
Because then you're really just there to try to like do more of the same.
And kind of just wasting your time.
You're doing yourself a huge disservice.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. This comment said, agreed, but styled wedding photos are okay if we want to eventually get into doing weddings, but have to build a portfolio of wedding images in order to eventually book a real wedding, right? How else could I get into wedding photography? To which Josh replied, but they're not real wedding images, right? His point. They're not real. But they're not real. So if you're trying to book a real wedding, you're not really showing your wedding's portfolio. You're showing a portfolio of images that were taken under perfect scenarios with dedicated stylists and ample time for everything, which is what you just said. To get actual wedding images and proper experience, the best way is to shadow and second shoot. This way you're able to see what photos you take under the actual pressure of a wedding day. Not only will it make you better as a whole, but it is also disingenuous to the couples if you're only showcasing style shoots. So I definitely have disagreed with this in the past, but I agree with it now. Is that I said, well, if you have no portfolio, get styled shoot content and put it on your website to at least have something. But I think two things can be true at once. I think my issue is when you're pushing it as a real wedding. But then I look at like Russell Kent Nichols, who shoots in 31 Films, who shoots these bridal shows all the time, and they're flexing that this is a designer shoot.
Own it.
Own it.
Yeah.
I think it's such a strength to say like, look at how well I captured this mock-up or this styled shoot, right? And look at all of the vendors who went into making this styled shoot perfect.
Right.
You don't have to say it's a wedding to impress people. And I would even argue like, wouldn't you rather cover your bases and say it's not a real wedding? In case
someone says, where's the rest of the gallery?
That's
the worst case scenario.
Or someone asks like, do that for me. And say, oh, I can't do that exactly for you. You know, like, that was a gorgeous model and a crate. It's just like, wouldn't you rather just flex like, I killed this styled shoot with this planner and this florist and just give them the content and, and then let other brides be like, wow, that's good inspiration for my wedding day, you know?
Yeah.
Get ahead of it.
Get ahead of it. Own up to it. There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah. There are multiple ways to get into weddings. So what this person was asking, like, how else is someone going to get into the wedding photography space? That's very limited thinking.
That's our last week's episode.
Right. That's what we touched on last episode. Like, there are multiple ways. Yeah. Second shooting is a great way. Yeah, of course, styled shoots are a great way to get in, but that doesn't mean you have to lie in the caption about it. Shadowing people, networking opportunities, shooting your friends for free. There's a lot of different ways to get into wedding photography or videography. You don't have to go to something and pretend it was a real wedding. That's not what you have to do.
Or like, like I think the answer's in the question. Like you're at a styled shoot working with a planner, a florist, all these different designers. make content for each one and give it to them, and they'll give you weddings. They'll be, oh my gosh, like, thank you for making me a dedicated floral reel. I have a bride who isn't a videographer. Are you available?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you have to go and make some fake video and tell brides, like, here's how we can capture a wedding, because you don't know how, right?
Right.
But you gave a florist and said, I loved working with you. I was talking to you and networking with you all day. Here's some content for you. Odds are they're going to want you to be at their next wedding.
True.
The planner, the florist, the models, whoever it may be, which is the easier, I would say, easier route to get a wedding than to take all this wedding and somehow tell a story about something fake.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I have seen some comments in here, multiple saying, well, they're just like so much fun and they're good networking opportunities. Like, yeah, they're good networking opportunities. I would say if you're established and you have the money for it, because all these styled shoots cost money. If you have the money and you want to just have fun and get creative, a lot of people find fulfillment in that. Go do it. Knock yourself out, you know? I feel like a lot more photographers get addicted to styled shoots than videographers.
Yeah.
Photographers love their styled shoots.
We sell out our videography workshops.
Okay, but workshops, yeah, exactly. But a lot of photographers, I think styled shoots are more popular among photographers, just because there's more of them, more photographers. But to me, styled shoots are like self-help books. Okay, 1 or 2 of them, great, fine, knock yourself out. But I think the problem is, people who read self-help book after self-help book after self-help book, they get this feeling that they're accomplishing something just by reading how to do something. Yeah. But they don't actually do it.
Right.
And that's where the disconnect comes in. And that's what it is like with styled shoots. They get this feeling that they're building their brand, they're building their portfolio, when in reality, if they're not actually going towards action, they're not doing anything, they're just wasting their money.
It's my issue with college.
Pivot to that, please. What?
Just like,
what's the? Go ahead.
You leave college thinking like basically as a huge self-help book.
Yeah.
And because you read the book, you think you did it, and you didn't give anything yet.
I agree with that.
It's time to go do something.
No,
80% of people who leave college do nothing with their degree.
No, you're looking at one right now. Man,
in this room, 100% of the people with a degree did not use it.
I did nothing with it. I tinker with it now and then.
But to your point, people go to these shoots, they think the content is their wedding. And sadly, I've seen, and I'm not trying to offend anybody here, I want this to be a learning point. I've seen people use the styled shoot content for years.
Yeah, 100%.
And that scares me.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, at the most, it should have been like a great stepping stone. Maybe improve like some of your website content. Maybe be like a good grid aesthetic amplifier.
Right.
Few posts here and there. Oh, it looks really cool. Destination. But if you're using that as the selling point, that this is the best thing I've ever shot, then it's like, okay, now we got to figure out what's wrong.
Yeah.
Because if you're a year later and you're still posting styled shoot content from a year ago,
something's up.
You know, your audience starts to get the hang of it, and now you kind of look like a one-trick pony if that's all you have. And then a lot of brides might look at that and think, well, that's not me. That's not, because it's just fake.
Yeah.
So that being said, Nathan, how do you and I, as hosts of a workshop, justify selling these styled shoots to videographers? What are we really selling to these people? Because I believe the tagline is elevate your brand.
If you have purchased a ticket to our October workshop, let us tell you about it. Okay. First off, I just want to talk briefly about what you just said because, I agree with the college thing.
Go on.
Okay. Just don't want to talk about that too much. Anyway, no, on the other side of that coin that you were saying of, you know, some people just reuse and repurpose for years and years and years. The other side of that coin is people that we know that we've shot at styled shoots with years ago. I still see them posting in Facebook groups, and they always, when they're asking a question, they lead with, hey, total noob here. What's this and this and this? And that was 3 years ago that we shot with them. A lot has happened in 3 years. A lot has changed. We've increased our bookings, we've increased our brand, we've done all this work, but some people are stuck in that mindset of like, if you still consider yourself a newbie and you've been doing it for 5 years, but just doing styled shoot after styled shoot, like, that's a huge disservice. And it makes me feel sad for them.
We know people, I won't drop names, who picked up a camera during COVID and are now in the top luxury market.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean? So I'm just like, if you want it, you want it.
Yep. And you'll figure out a way. But yeah, your question, how do we as hosts make it worth it? What was it? Make it,
I guess, justify.
Okay.
We're dogging on it, but here we are selling one.
Well, homeboy Josh, he also does workshops. He does styled shoots. So the point of this post isn't to say they're useless or you shouldn't go to them. The point is just they're not real weddings. Don't lie about it. Okay. That's the bottom line.
I don't think there's any reason to lie about it.
No reason at all.
I think all these arguments about like, well, how do we get brides? It's just like you're missing the point. Like, yeah. When you get into the market we're into, like the more you, and I think any market actually, you ask any videographer, stop trying to market yourself to brides. Because if you're only focusing on marketing yourself to brides, whatever market you're in, beginner, you're just working the hardest way possible, in my opinion. I think you are working the absolute hardest way. Brides will come, but the best way to expand your market and expand your outreach and to reach more people is through vendors. People who are doing the weddings that you want to be at all the time, who are more established than you are, who are doing a dozen a year, who are kind of maybe 1 or 2 steps ahead of you career-wise, maybe a year or 2 ahead of you. Like, okay, they're doing 10 weddings a year. I'm doing 1, right? You know, I'm not really at a place where I can talk to people who are doing 50 weddings a year, but if, you know, the point being, like, at these styled shoots, meet these vendors.
Meet the people.
And give them the content they want and show those vendors. I think more so than you're trying to impress brides on Instagram, you're trying to impress vendors who think, I want to like learn more about this videographer. Like, wow, they make my stuff look good. Especially for videography, because I think if you're a bride watching a video and it's a styled shoot and you don't know it's a styled shoot and your videographer shows up and has no idea how to capture audio or how to pose because it was all done for him or her, or deal with an ideal scenario like, you know, first look at noonday versus golden hour, with models who are trained how to react, and your groom turns around and doesn't even do anything. That sucks for you because you didn't know that it wasn't a real wedding. And if you based everything off of that experience that you had on Instagram, you're just going to be short-sighted. So that hurts.
No, I agree. And so when we talk about how we can justify it as hosts, a couple things. Styled shoots versus workshops. 2 completely different things. Workshop is...
You have one... Yeah. They're like one and the same at ours, though.
One is... what are those things called? The Venn diagrams, right? One is it's involved in the broader scope. So here's the workshop. It's a big circle. And there's a little subsection of it is a styled shoot. Okay. A workshop is much more than a styled shoot.
It is.
It's about networking. It's about learning. Education. And then a little part of it is getting some pretty stuff for your portfolio.
The little part is marketed heavily.
And that is marketed very heavily. Unlike a single day styled shoot, a multi-day workshop, that's going to give you enough content to feed your portfolio for a long time. You can make a lot of reels out of it. You can update your banners. You can update all these things with different looks because, for example, just talking about our workshops, you're going to be able to get one that's on the Red Rock, one that's in the dunes, one's going to be like a luxury reception area. So all this different variety that you can use.
To practice.
Yeah, to practice as well. Personally, you and I, whenever we go to a styled shoot, we go there, number one, I would say this is in order of importance. Number one, it's a vendor or a venue we want to network with. Absolutely. And our second priority is probably different from most people is we have LUTs that we want to practice coloring. We want to sell digital assets. LUTs, Exactly.
I'd rather sell models for LUTs than like a real couple.
Exactly.
Personally.
And so if there are filmmakers out there who want to get in the education space, I think it's great for that too, because you can get some really good looking content. And if you want to sell LUTs, there's your footage. If you want to, X, Y, I don't know. But it's great for that. I would say the biggest thing though about workshops is the networking. I'm just thinking right off the bat about...
It's number one by far.
Yeah, Matthew and Justin, okay? When we were in Ireland, we got all this great content, but Matthew saw Justin working and he saw all the content he was cranking out every single day, said, hey, I really like how Justin works. And Matthew doesn't need a workshop, but he wanted to connect with people and he found somebody. And what was it, like the next week he flew Justin out to do a multi-day luxury wedding in California. And Justin's been taken off since.
Yeah, he's been killing it.
So workshops are invaluable, I'd say, for networking within the same industry.
Yeah, this guy Donnie said, do style shoots when you're learning, but post them with the caption, I cared enough about my craft to spend money learning, trying new things, and perfecting whatever. Whatever you want to say, just don't pretend it's a real wedding on social media. Well put. And then someone said, agree. They are so, this account's called Style Shoots Across America. They said, agree. They are so great for so many things, but trying to pass images from one off as a real wedding ain't it. And then someone said, grab my popcorn. I want to see IG feeds that aren't styled shoots for at least 20 photos. Crazy.
20 photos.
And I was looking at our feed. Luckily, this has been an intentional part of our process the last year. We want to weed out all styled shoot content and only post real things. And if we are posting styled shoots or like a dress showing or things like that, we want the caption to reflect that. And I think that's honestly, like I said at the beginning, more of a strength than it is a slight. Yeah, I just think like there's nothing, you don't lose any credibility by saying, I killed this styled shoot.
Yeah.
Or like a caption could be a hats off to all the amazing vendors who made the styled shoot possible. And it's just gorgeous recap of the styled shoot.
It's like, dang.
And then all of a sudden, all these vendors who see that, it's like, wow, they killed that. Like if I'm like a luxury planner and I saw that reel, I'm like, wow, he knows how to shoot content.
Absolutely.
He needs to come shoot behind the scenes at my wedding. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Here's a great comment. This is a textbook definition of how to use a styled shoot. This person said, definitely used one styled shoot to up my portfolio and to get used to my full frame camera. I used crop sensors for years until last year. Wow. So they upgraded from a crop sensor to a full frame and they said, hey, I need to get used to this before I shoot a real wedding. I'm going to use styled shoots. Beautiful use of styled shoots. Okay, I was just thinking about this and wanted to do a reel about wedding dysmorphia.
Sounds like something I would have.
Sounds like one of your disorders. Okay, wedding dysmorphia and house I'll shoot. I can't understand what they're saying. Hang on, I'll shoot are playing into that. And I was just thinking about this. And I wanted to do a reel about wedding dysmorphia and how styled shoots are playing into that. Okay, I didn't really understand that. But anyway, wedding dysmorphia. Interesting term.
Someone said, kindly mind your business. Yo, triggered much? Hey, someone commented, I hate when people do this trend wrong. There are 6 beats. If you're going to do it, at least learn to count.
That's the question, though. Is styled 1 or 2 syllables? Is it styled or styled?
Styled shoots aren't real weddings. Styled shoots
aren't real weddings. Even if it is 1 or 2, it's still 6, right?
Yeah, it's fine.
It's still 7 or 8.
It's funny.
Styled shoots aren't real wedding. Yeah, he missed it either way.
All right, let's see what this guy has to say. Maybe this is the case of an imperfect messenger, but don't you think it might come off as disingenuous when someone rails against styled shoots and then a week later announces that they're hosting a glorified styled shoot? If the argument is styled shoots mislead couples because they don't really replicate the stress of a normal wedding day, what would you call a wedding shoot where you pay the couple to be there? They basically have no expectations. Yeah, I mean, I think people are not understanding what he's trying to say.
I don't think so either. And that's the thing, too. He said a fact.
He's not saying style shoots are bad.
Right.
He's saying style shoots should not be marketed as real weddings.
He said a fact. Everyone else filled in the blanks with their feelings.
All these people triggered. You can't count syllables to a beat.
Yeah. And then someone says they're a write-off. They're a write-off. They're a write-off. Still didn't get the right syllables, but I can see that. Which, I mean, we've actually had people, when they're trying to buy a workshop, they're like, oh, yeah, I need to meet my write-off for this year. And so they just, that's why they buy a ticket to the workshop. So I respect it.
Chill, Josh. Let's practice. Again, it's funny how you take something so simple and people kind of project their own beliefs.
Exactly.
Through how angry they are in the comments when all he's saying is that don't say it's a real wedding. Still shoot them, still invest in them, still go to them, practice, post them, but just don't claim that that's your portfolio and that's a real wedding.
Okay, what about this guy? This guy said, I know people who do styled shoots with brides, and that's absolutely fine, but I don't agree with them using it as their main ad spend for advertising their packages. It's fraud. You do not get this time with brides on the day.
I agree with that. I think it's great practice. Yeah, I think I've said my piece, and I think it's a very simple truth. Styled shoots are a great way to learn and network, yes. Styled shoots are not a proper portfolio of new photographers' work to show to wedding companies or brides who want to hire you. Why? Because you didn't set up the shots and you don't have the directing skills it took to set up those shots. You'd be over your head at a real wedding, especially if it's a tough lighting day.
See, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you really only get like golden hour, pretty hour shots for styled shoots. This person said, I have a personal vendetta against styled wedding shoots. I'm so sick of photographers catfishing clients by having such stunning, quote, wedding photos. 0 photos from actual weddings they have shot. Photographers know that styled scenarios and models with 0 crunch for time or need to find the settings or angles are basically cheating. Literally anyone can take a good photo in those conditions.
I agree.
Then put that photographer at a wedding and they have no idea what they're doing.
I agree.
I agree too. So where does this leave us?
I think it's a simple truth that we've beat to death already.
Yeah.
The more I think about it, it's just don't market it as a real wedding. And you might think, well, then what do I do? It's like, well, there's a billion other things to do.
Right.
You know, market it, use it if like, what is marketing? Like, use that as a marketing piece to the vendors you just worked with. Because if they are doing the type of work you want, network with them. And it's like, well, they're also in the styled shoot because they want to get better weddings. It's like, well, then build each other up, grow together. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. I think we beat it to death. I don't know what else there is possibly to say about styled shoots.
I love them.
I do too.
I think they're great to practice.
Yeah. No, I agree that they're fun and they're good networking.
And I think they're great to quickly learn what you don't know. Yeah, I think it's a great way to really just start your craft.
Also,
the goal should be to grow out of it, though.
It should be, yeah. I think everybody needs to chill out just a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
Everyone just needs to chill. Who cares? At the end, who cares? There's way too much work to go around for everybody. Yeah. Who cares? Because I think most people see like we're guilty of this too. Sometimes we see someone and like, oh, that's not a real wedding. That's not. But what are we trying to say is like, oh, they're going to steal my clients because they posted that, or like, how dare they post that? It's just like this weird ego. Like,
who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
I think a lot of people see it as a shortcut, and I think it is. People say like, well, get to those weddings you want to be at the right way, the hard way, the networking way. Get those relationships built. I think everyone. I saw someone comment. It's microwave culture where you just want to throw it in the microwave and have it be cooked, whereas you don't want to like slow burn anything.
Right, you don't want the oven.
And I think our generation especially, we want instant gratification, and so we want to microwave our businesses. And whereas you don't want to like spend 5 years building a relationship with someone, you want to just like go to a styled shoot and hope it leads to like a luxury wedding.
Yeah, see, that's interesting because I imagine like this guy, I'm just picturing it as like someone who's been doing it for 10, 20 years, and they see all these newbies coming in, and it's a different way. Like how they built their business is completely different from how someone starting in 2023, 2024, 2025 starts their business. And so I wonder if it's like, I grinded for years. I did this. I was very intentional. And then they look at these kids doing styled shoots. Maybe it's a little bit of resentment, a little bit of jealousy, a little bit like a classic case of this.
Smarter.
A classic case. Talking about the LDS culture here, talking about the missionaries.
Let's get religious.
So in the LDS culture, there are missionaries, and missionaries 30 years ago will tell the missionaries 15 years ago, oh, back in my day, man, we didn't have cell phones. We didn't get to talk to our families. In our day, now we talk to the missionaries saying we didn't get a call home every single week. It was twice a year. So it's just always kind of like this generational, well, we did it the hard way. That means you need to put in the blood, sweat, and tears. When in reality, it might just be a different way of building your brand, of building your business that we all just need to accept.
Yeah, I think Jay from J-Mac always says, like, I'll never hate on the younger generation because that's just what everyone always does, is they just hate on the next person instead of building them up. So I agree with that. Yeah. I concur.
Well, I've enjoyed this topic, Jacob.
Nothing else to say.
I got nothing else to say.
How was your weekend?
We've swapped the conversational tone for the very end. Man, I don't remember what I did this weekend. I know. Kayla put in her 2 weeks. So we went and like celebrated
News to me.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's news to all of us. Yeah, she just put it in on Friday. So on Saturday, We went out. I mean, we just kind of had a casual day, went to the Riverwoods, went shopping a little bit, went out to eat, celebrate a little bit.
It's huge.
I know. So yeah, she's going all in on the Pilates.
Don't remember what we did this weekend. Biggest news I've ever heard.
I remember. It took me a second.
Only the thing I've been talking to Caleb about for years.
Yeah, that's what I did this weekend. Yeah, that's it.
Nice.
I think. How was your weekend?
It's good.
Are you allowed?
I don't know. They made a comment about my NDA. I was like, oh, actually don't.
Well, how was the food?
Speaking of NDAs,
how was the yeah?
I was in Spain. That's common knowledge. Speaking of NDAs, a lot of people have a clause in their contracts that say anything you learn about the person you're working for that weekend,
You can't tell anybody.
yeah. Like anything you hear about people in the industry, even methods of how they do business, how they like to deliver or what they shoot on, like anything they do.
Yeah.
That is knowledge learned under the NDA purview.
Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking very specifically about nothing in the wedding space, but someone once broke NDA and told me about a very high profile celebrity and what they were doing on set and how they weren't allowed to. I guess I'm not under NDA, so can I say it?
What are you talking about? Is this me?
No, not you. No, you're not that high profile. No, it was Zac Efron working with Kodiak Cakes.
Oh yeah.
And so we had some friends working, shooting the commercials with them. They had to sign an NDA saying whatever like Zac does or like says, like you can't tell anybody. Somebody told me. Am I allowed to like, it's not that big of a deal.
No. Well, that's the reason he broke the NDA. And this is exactly why you don't want him to break the NDA.
Well, I don't want to come off.
Some guy's going to come off and say, well, I'm not under NDA. Here's my podcast. Let me tell the world.
I'm not going to say it because I don't like spreading rumors. Yeah.
But oftentimes I feel like our NDAs, it's usually more about like the privacy of our clients than it is about other things.
100%. Yeah.
But due to recent things, I definitely updated our NDA.
Good.
Always evolving, that contract.
Due to recent things.
Oh, yeah.
What recent things?
You know exactly what I'm talking about. The only recent thing that's happened relating to NDAs and our clients and people working under us and being around our clients.
Oh.
So, yeah. There's a lot of things that can be written down.
Yeah, I do know what you're talking about. Mm.
Yeah. Some NDAs are even like you can't mention that you were at the event for a year and then you can tell people, oh, I shot so-and-so's wedding.
Really?
Like for a year, no one can know it was you just because they want all the hype to pass. And then you could be like, oh yeah, I shot Zac Efron or whatever.
Yeah. I used to think NDAs were just the stupidest thing until
I thought so too.
I thought they were just like an ego thing. It's like a patent.
But
like,
I get it.
NDA. I get it. Industry, it's kind of industry specific. For example, like when I was first introduced to NDAs, it was when I was in college doing software development. Every single person has an idea for an app or a website. And the funniest thing is like, hey, bro, I just came up with this idea for a website. You want to meet at lunch? I just need you to sign an NDA before I tell you. It's like, oh my gosh, everyone's had the same idea,
but you get it.
Nobody cares. But then, in this industry, so coming into this industry, it was like, oh, NDAs are silly. But then it made sense. Like if you're filming a celebrity and they're just like blackout drunk and they're just getting,
and what if you
like,
get that person's email and then some third shooter sees Zac Efron's email?
Correct. Yeah, it can really
now I
easily
have his email.
be
You know what I mean?
slander, defamation, all that stuff. So industry specific. I understand why NDAs are pretty tight.
So let me revisit that before I talk about it. But I was on a cool trip this weekend, which was fun.
Was the food good?
It was all right.
Did you have paella?
Is that rice and sausage?
That's like the rice with seafood.
I did.
Was it good?
Fantastic. It was actually our vendor meal.
The paella, really?
It was our vendor meal.
Man, that sounds great.
It was bomb. It was my favorite meal. It was good. I landed and had this weird pork thing. It was good. And then the next morning, I had I was only there for 36 hours, you guys. Brutal. The next morning, I woke up early for sunrise, filmed some time lapses, and then ate this amazing pistachio white chocolate frappe drink, and it was the best frappuccino I've ever had. And then I had that with a soft-boiled egg on sourdough and tomato jam and Nutella pancakes.
Nutella pancakes. You're a sucker
It
for
reminded
Nutella.
me of our Irish pancakes. Remember that one place that had tiny pancakes? They were like this big. It was that pub we went to, and we got pancakes that morning. It was the day we arrived.
Oh, with all the other
Jacks or whatever.
Was it the day with all the other VIPs?
Arrived.
The
yeah.
VIPs?
And I got pancakes
I
like
do
this
remember
big.
that. I do remember
and
that.
they're like crispy.
Yeah,
That's
I do
how it
remember
tasted.
that. So they were pretty good.
Yeah.
Man.
It was good.
Okay. Did the
The flight home made me delusional, though.
Oh yeah.
21 hours, you guys. Delusional.
That's what the Greece one was. 21 hours.
Delusional.
It really puts a damper on the whole idea of Europe. Just like, man,
Gotta be there for 2 weeks.
you got to. Do the Spaniards do pork as good as the Greeks?
No.
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 Dude, the Greeks do their pork
my
good.
current ranking of pork is America, Mexico, Greece.
Really?
Yeah.
America.
Yeah.
Mexico.
The way I like pork, I like the American
like slow roasted,
barbecue.
like shredded pork sort of thing?
Yeah, like I like American barbecue
Gotcha.
pork. I think it's the best. And I think second place, sometimes first, depending on the place, is Mexican pork. When they do with the
Like carnitas?
yeah, what's the pineapple dripping one?
Al pastor.
Like I think
Cool.
I think Mexico is definitely, and I think
Yeah.
Greece,
Best.
the pork I had was next tier.
Dude, the one we got at Casanova,
Yeah.
the wood fired pork that was 12. Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
caramelized. Man.
Yeah.
Okay. Spaniards.
fine.
They got good food.
I was also in a touristy part versus Greece. I really feel like I enjoyed the culture. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Can't wait to go
Where
somewhere.
were we at in Spain from the cruise? Barcelona?
We went to Barcelona.
Barcelona.
Barcelona. And then we went to Valencia.
Okay.
I think those are the only two spots in Spain.
Yeah. Yeah, connected in Frankfurt.
Frankfurt, Germany.
Went from Denver to Frankfurt.
Okay.
That was a first.
That was a 10-hour flight?
And all they have in the airport are pretzels
Brats.
and waffles. Or pretzels and hot dogs, yeah. Nowhere else. That's all you had. So I had to get a pretzel. It was amazing.
Okay.
Didn't get a hot dog. And on the flight home, it was from Spain to Newark. And I hate that airport. I think it's sixes with New York. I think Newark
JFK and Newark?
are just,
Really?
just awful.
I'll be excited for when JFK is finished with all their construction because it is the it is
awful.
the worst.
And then Newark to Denver.
Dude, that must have sucked. You're so close to
Hour
Salt Lake
flight
City.
to Denver to Salt Lake.
You could have just gone a little further.
Wanted to die. And then B-Gate. Oh my gosh. I was not well. It
Yeah.
was a good trip though.
Yeah. Those long flights though, that'll get you. Yeah, from Greece to Atlanta, it was 13 hours. And I'll never forget that. That
That's
was
horrible.
brutal. Different experience because we went Greece to Atlanta, Atlanta to Salt Lake City. So it was like 13 hours layover and then 5 hour. Yeah, it was a long
The
day.
final one was a kicker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, we're actually, I think next week we should talk about second shooting.
We just talked about that
When?
last episode. Second shooter. My hot take is that
that's
second
being
shooters
tagged.
are interchangeable.
I want to talk
Like
about
what about second shooting?
effective second shooting. Because I feel like that was like, should you tag them? I want to do an episode about
Effective second shooting.
effective second shooting.
That's a good episode.
Yeah. Because it was an awesome weekend.
Yeah.
And this weekend, Nate and I are second shooting for two different people.
Yeah.
And we found out we're in the exact same place.
Yeah.
And they booked our travel and we're on the same flight home.
Yeah. Can't
We're
wait.
on the same flight there.
I know.
Maybe I'll leave a day early just because.
Just to hang out in California.
No, I would never.
Never.
Um,
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll talk about second shooting next week.
yeah.
That'll be a good one.
Yeah.
Well, great.
Great. Got nothing else to say.
Nothing else
Great
to say.
episode.
It's great to see you, Jacob.
Great to see you. Guys, if you want to submit any stories for our Written by You series, we'll link that below, along with all of our digital assets. Thank you, Music Bed, for sponsoring today's episode. We'll see you in the next one.